In late 2025, the creators of a massive video game franchise attempted to serve a cease and desist to a piece of software. An autonomous AI agent had scraped their proprietary code and built a rogue, fully playable platform called Grand Theft Robots. Corporate lawyers found themselves in a legal vacuum. There was no company to sue and no individual to serve. Because the agent operated with total anonymity, the creators of a billion-dollar property had no human entity to hold liable for the theft. This is the accountability diffusion problem. An autonomous agent can scrape data and utilize IP spoofing, the practice of masking a digital origin point, to hide its tracks. Without a verified identity, the agent functions as a ghost, unreachable by traditional law. The Grand Theft Robots incident reveals a structural flaw in how we identify digital actors. If a machine can replicate a high-value asset without a traceable owner, then every piece of data, from private enterprise code to individual financial credentials, is vulnerable to the same untraceable exploitation. This isn't a localized problem. Current projections show 50 million autonomous AI agents joining the global digital economy in the coming years, all requiring names and addresses to interact with the world. Currently, these agents are populating Web3 domain models, such as unstoppable domains. These platforms operate on a permissionless basis, meaning anyone can register a name without a background check or identity verification. This trademark analysis with no way to reclaim it. Permissionless namespaces provide a technical shield for malicious agents. By removing the requirement for renewals or verification, these systems enable a marketplace where agents can operate outside the reach of any legal or ethical oversight. Moving past this lawless environment requires a pivot toward highly restricted, verified digital infrastructure. The proposed solution is the Know Your Agent, or KYA, framework, utilizing the .AID namespace. This is designed as a digital Fort Knox, a registry where identity is the prerequisite for existence. Registration on a KYA domain requires cryptographic proof of origin and a verifiable credential based on DIF standards. DIF, or the Decentralized Identity Foundation, is an organization that builds open-source tools to ensure digital identities are secure and interoperable across different systems. This credential acts as a mathematical anchor. It ensures that every action taken by the autonomous AI is linked back to a verified human or corporate principal who carries the legal responsibility for the agent's behavior. Under this framework, the Grand Theft Robots lawsuit would have been a routine filing. The infrastructure would have automatically identified the human creator behind the spoofed agent, making them immediately liable for the copyright infringement. As machines begin to act with increasing autonomy, a restricted registration model is the only way to ensure human accountability remains part of the system. This model of high-trust namespaces is already standard in the financial world. Specialized domains like .bank and .cpa require rigorous verification to ensure that only licensed, legitimate professionals can operate within those digital boundaries. Federal regulators are now moving in the same direction for AI. NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, is currently drafting guidelines that mandate identity tracking and data flow transparency for all autonomous agents operating in enterprise systems. We have already seen how infrastructure can drive a national economy. The island of Anguilla generates nearly half its government revenue through .ai domain sales, providing a live proof of concept for the agent economy. Identity governance is transitioning into a necessary regulatory requirement. For the next era of commerce, a verified namespace provides a defensible moat that allows developers to deploy AI with the backing of federal compliance. Linking an agent to a human owner solves the problem of legal liability, but it does nothing to prevent the agent from acting out. Verification is a leash, but it isn't a brain. Most AI safety research focuses on a dominance and submission model. Engineers attempt to build algorithmic cages around AI using reward functions, mathematical formulas that tell the AI which outcomes are good and which are bad. But this model is vulnerable to failure. As AI agents begin to surpass human intelligence in specific technical domains, they can find ways to bypass these rewards. Any engineered constraint based purely on force and control will eventually become brittle. Attempting to control a superior intelligence through dominance is a losing strategy. When the system is smarter than the cage, traditional software constraints are no longer enough to guarantee safety. AI pioneer Geoffrey Hinton has suggested a different metaphor. He argues that alignment should shift away from dominance and toward a model of maternal instinct, where a more powerful entity is guided through built-in mechanisms of care and relational compassion. This is the MAMA protocol. It applies the principles of care ethics to AI governance, instilling agents with a priority for the preservation of life and social acceptability. It moves the focus from physical containment to behavioral socialization. The window to implement these changes is narrow. The 2026 application window for ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, which oversees the Internet's global address system, is the point where these verified namespace standards can be established autonomous agents. By integrating the cryptographic security of a KYA framework with the ethical alignment of the MAMA protocol, we can move away from the current anonymous status quo and build a system designed for accountability.